going live. Yay, we're live. Hey guys, how is everybody today? Thanks for coming back. Hope you had a good week. Anything exciting happened this week?
No, my fantasy team bit the dust. Both leagues.
I like the Bengals.
Yeah, they're worse than the Bengals.
Worse than the Bengals?
If it's possible.
Whoa.
It was like the equivalent of the Bengals. It's like I scored 3 points in a week.
Hi AJ, thanks for joining us in the chat even though you couldn't be here today. Phil and I got to play a couple games. 2 in a partial.
1-1?
Yeah, 1-1. You're probably going to lose the next game.
No?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's about to get really bad for you. Let's see. We can hear. You guys look clear. You like that? I am using my brand new camera, which I am super stoked about. It is so nice. It doesn't have an automatic shut off. I don't have to worry about timing out. I can run 2 cameras at once. I could actually run 3 if I used the camera on a computer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's what I was actually doing last night with Vlad. Which, by the way, where's Vlad? Why ain't he in the chat?
Is that the computer? The camera pops up from the
Well,
top of the
yeah.
screen?
My iMac at home, it's just built in. And it's,
Yeah.
but I had FaceTime on that, had a camera pointing down at me, and I could have even had another camera going if I wanted to. I'm getting fancy with this stuff. I'm loving it. I recorded a game last night with Vlad. I made a post about it today where we used Zoom, and Zoom's got a 40-minute time limit on the free edition.
Glad you beat him real fast.
I didn't beat him real fast.
Huh?
I didn't beat him, period. The Zoom time ran out because I didn't know the 40 minutes started when I entered the meeting or when I scheduled the meeting, and it took him 10 minutes to get there.
You just text him that you won?
So that's what I should have done. So I'm glad I already won. Thanks for coming late.
Hey, it's the new chess clock.
Yeah. That's actually something we're going to get into in the tournament guide. There is a rule about being late and how they determine a winner. But he came in probably 10 minutes late, so we only had like 30 minutes to play. And at the end of the 40 minutes, it's a hard stop, man. There was no warning. It's like, your meeting's over. Then you had to wait another 9 minutes before you could start another meeting. But then Vlad sent me an invite so I could join his meeting, and we finished the game that way.
Trick it.
Yeah, it was a good game. I was originally going to try and edit that stopgap out and upload the whole thing. I'm not that good at editing yet, so I don't think I'm going to be uploading that game to the channel. I'll wait and see. I think we can play more games. I don't need to take all that time to edit.
Yeah.
If I was good at editing, it'd be one thing, but I'm super new at all this, and I don't have the time to learn the editing to get that good.
Yeah, we got too many irons in the fire, for sure.
Yeah, just getting the channel up is good for me. Wow, nobody else in the chat right now.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. Oh, there we go, live chat. I was busy doing all this yesterday afternoon, getting it all set up and ready to play, and then Vlad said, hey, I can't do it for a couple hours. So I sat around and waited for him. But it was fun.
You did do a couple uploads, the new Beyonder deck.
Yeah, I did. I recorded that. I think I did that on Saturday. And then Friday night I did a live stream that Ricky and Vlad both came in and participated with. They helped me a lot. I had a lot of questions, and they came up with the answers to most of my questions, if not all of them. So it's kind of hard getting back in after all that time. There's a lot of things that I forgot. But those guys, they pretty much know what they're talking about. Although Vlad made a couple errors in our game that it's like, well, what the heck's he doing? I think it's because I can't see everything on his side. I can see everything on his side of the table up to a point. I think he thought he could just slide it in on me and I wouldn't notice.
Give you a drop kick later.
He got excited that he got to place his any hero negate. What's that called in the new one?
Merlin, maybe?
Merlin, maybe,
something
yeah.
like that.
And, He goes, oh, I get to place this because it's placeable and it can negate any special now. And I said, oh,
So
okay.
did he place it on a hero?
Yeah, he placed it on Beast.
Okay.
Yeah. What, does that matter?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the second card that he placed on Beast.
I thought he did it on his team Overpower.
Oh, no, he put it right on top of Dropkick.
Okay. I heard him say something about an any character earlier in the chat today.
Yeah,
and I thought, well,
that's the
he
one
must have placed two any characters or something.
I think I would have caught that faster, but playing on camera, I'm glancing at his stuff and then looking back at
Your
my
cards.
cards. So we were calling out what we were placing and where we were placing it.
Yeah, it's a nice feature. You got audible.
Yeah. So it was nice. I had fun. There's Ricky now. Hola.
No Chris down in Cincinnati yet?
No Chris.
Yeah.
Where is that guy?
It says we got 10 people.
What?
At least that's what I see.
Man, is anyone chatting? Has anyone said anything besides
I think just
this,
Ricky
Jim?
and AJ.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm seeing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to refresh or not.
Scott didn't think I should have posted my
8 watching.
8 watching. Okay, guys, let us know we don't know who's watching unless you comment in the chat. The one thing that I really hate about YouTube Live. So if you want to give us a hi, we'll give you a shout out. Scott did not think anyone wanted to care to see my Beyond deck.
I think that's because he's been beat by it so many times.
That must be it. He was hoping that he would never have to see it again. Hey, Brett, how are you?
He had to take
Thanks for coming.
He had to take a couple Tylenol and call the doctor in the morning.
Yeah, he still has night sweats over that deck. But it did. Oh, good evening. Hopping in for a bit. Justin, thanks, man. Good to see ya.
Is it the real Justin or Ricky?
Well, I can't tell them apart
Yeah,
from their screen names. They look exactly alike. And there's Howard.
And we got all
Hi
these
there,
bots.
Howard. Howard wants to know what we think of the tournament guide.
Wonder how many bots Ricky named Justin.
Yeah. But the Beyond Your Deck did get a lot of hits overnight. It had.
Yeah, it's nice.
I was done that yesterday, I guess, didn't I?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
Okay. I had 43 views overnight, which made me feel better. AJ says there's 6 in the watching now.
We're dropping.
Yeah, we lost 2 guys already. One of them was my wife, the other was yours.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure they were really there doing a live stream.
They've seen enough of us for the week.
Checking up on us. Brett
We're really
says,
at the podcast.
yeah, you guys aren't really podcasting, are you? You're off somewhere watching football. Well, maybe later, but right now we are running a podcast. Brett says, I watched your Beyonder video and left a question about follow-up attacks, and I replied to that, Mr. Cox. I hope...
What was the question?
His question was... Reiki says him and Justin are one. They are one. Yes, I'm beginning to think so. Brett's question was on a chain attack from Morph's Red 2 a Doom.
Okay.
How does the chain work? And he had it right. If you make the first attack, you can't chain off of that one. The second, which would actually be the third attack, but the extra attacks, if you make it that third attack, that one you can chain off of. If you chain off the first attack, follow up to that too, you negate being able to make another attack.
Yeah, and I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize too is if you do the red 2 and then another attack and then play, say, like an Invisible Woman 3, say you had her on your team, that stops the chain too.
Right. That's a good point. That was the second half of Brett's question, although not related to the red 2.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody else can jump in on that chain.
Yeah,
No
it
other
has to come
character
from
can
the same
jump in,
character.
no matter what. Justin, he says, if you make it to Boston, we can coordinate outfits, Ricky. Now, they won't make you guys wear name tags. Of course, we wouldn't know if you switched them. So then his second question was, can anyone make a chain off of Invisible Woman's team? What's it called?
Team coordination.
Team coordination?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is no. They each get one follow-up attack, and that's
Yeah,
it.
it can't be Invisible Woman after she
So-
throws the 3.
Wait a minute. Invisible Woman throws a 3,
Yeah,
but
she
then can't play a 4 and follow up on that attack.
Right.
So everyone gets one additional attack.
Yeah, and it's not Invisible Woman. She's not considered one of the...
Oh, yeah, she's not her own
teammates
teammate. Yeah, right. I don't think he asked that part, so good, because I didn't answer that part. Now, Brett, was that clear, Brett? It's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully you got that. There's a good chance I'll be there, says Ricky. Awesome. I hope you guys buying your tickets now, your airfare. If they run a special or something, you'll be okay. But right now, everything just keeps going up. Price of everything. Hotel rooms are crazy.
Did you get a ticket?
Yeah, Corey and I got our tickets.
Okay.
Josiah's still waiting to get permission.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, what? You
Yeah.
haven't talked her into it yet?
Not yet.
That really was. I bet that really was one of her. She was one of the eight, making sure you were really here. Laura, he really is here with me.
Can I go to Boston pretty please?
Yeah, Laura, can you let it just come out and play one more time this year? That's it. It's the last big tournament of the year.
And my promo card. And the bonus card.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get the bonus card anyways.
I know.
Or do you have to go to Boston to get it? I'll pick it up for you. All right, Brett says that was crystal clear. Thanks. You are so welcome. I'm glad we could be of help. We want to upload more videos like that. I really want to do one about choosing your event to your deck.
Yeah, you probably should play your Beyond Your deck and film it. Just because there are so many chains and things going on that might be unique to some newer players.
Right, and that's what I told Scott when he laughed at me for uploading it. There's a lot of guys that haven't seen that deck, believe it or not.
Well, not just that. I mean, the Beyonder is unique to a lot of players too that's new to the game.
Right.
And how he actually functions.
Yeah, and
Different
point
specials
total,
and-
he's 28 points of your deck build.
Yeah, so he's a lot.
Yeah, he has an awful lot. It's hard
So
to
if you're,
use him and use him well.
yeah, if you're gonna run all 4 stat heroes, they would all have to be a 16 equivalent. So,
Well,
so
couldn't
would
you get
48 points.
117 if you use X babies?
Right, you can do a 17, 15, 16, but the average would be a 16-point character.
Yeah, and my Magneto 3 stat actually brings me on 1 point under.
Right. 'cause
Get
he's
71 instead of
he's-
72.
He's essentially a 15 as well.
Yeah, but it is a fun deck to play, and I'm enjoying playing it again. I'm still trying to bring Henry Pym to Boston. I really am.
I think I came up with a good deck for Pim,
Oh, good. All right.
so I'm gonna try to build it and play it and see what you think.
Oh, you're going to play it against me, not let me play it against you?
I'll let you play it if it does what I think
okay.
it does.
In case anybody didn't know, Phil actually came up with my Beyonder deck that I played for 20 years. Though you had White Queen in
Slightly
reserve
different.
the first time you played it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was when I had first started the game. I didn't realize there was 3 grid characters, and so I didn't have any of them. You know, I started after Monumental had come out,
Yeah.
and so I actually had Mojo X Babies with White Queen in reserve. You were like, oh wait, I think we can get a JW with an 8.
Yeah.
I said, how's that possible? Because there was no X-Men set at the time.
Right.
Yeah, so no X-Men.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's old characters. So yeah, that really became supercharged especially when you found out Magneto had a 4 make an additional with White Queen having the same card.
Yeah. I got that chain off against you tonight. That
Yeah.
was a nice little chain.
Let's move
No,
on.
you want to talk about that, huh? AJ says I can help choosing an event if needed. AJ, I appreciate that, and I'll bring you in, and we'll record that. What I want to do is lay out a whole bunch of events, and maybe just talk about where they may fit in best. Maybe have a couple decks built and say this is why I chose these events for this deck. I still putting that whole video together. I also want to do a real short video about why to choose a battle site over any heroes, and that'll take about 3 seconds.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
I did hear something about a deck went 10-0 with any heroes.
I did hear about that.
Did you?
Is there any video proof? Oh, wait a minute. There is. There's no video proof that Vlad beat me last night with an any hero deck.
I wouldn't upload
Sorry,
that.
Vlad. I lost it. Yeah,
Yeah, when the time's out, you don't get to save it.
And Howard says, we hope you bring Henry Pym to Boston with a big old smiley face.
You might not be happy.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, Howard. I'm just going to say be careful what you wish for. How many guys we got in the chat right now? Look at that. That's great. 1, 2, 3,
Uh-oh.
4, 5. 5 of them at least communicating with us.
I'm seeing 4, but I don't know if that's
Oh, probably Justin had to bail already. He said he was just popping
popping
in
in
for a
for a
minute.
second.
Justin or Ricky one said that.
Vlad must be doing soccer.
He said
Did he say
he be on because I wanted to talk to him about that game he played me. Nope, there's Justin. What do you think I'm trying to build a She-Hulk deck? Why do you think? I
42
can't
avoids.
figure it out unless you want to run 21 avoids from reserve.
And keep Dukes
Oh, he's building that intellect deck to defeat Henry Pym.
with She-Hulk.
Yeah, because she's going to sit back there and avoid all the intellect
intellect.
attacks that I throw. Ah, darn it. I should have kept that to myself. Henry Pym will not be in Boston.
Just make sure you don't call the one multi-intellect.
Or fighting. It's got to be energy or strength, right?
Yeah, I think he runs any heroes, but he might be safe.
Oh, okay. He might not know. He might run any heroes with 21 avoids in reserve. That's great. It's fun to see all the stuff everyone's coming up with. It's really hard to beat a Cadillac deck. I mean, it's been the Cadillac for 20 years, and we have no new cards to add to it. Very few new cards to add to it, which is why it's the Cadillac.
Yeah, it could have been the Cadillac. I mean, it's only, I think Keffer kind of came out with that in 2014, 2013, something like that. Then he kind of put it away. He just didn't have it fine-tuned, I don't think. And he went back to, I don't know if you remember us playing him in Buffalo, but he came with Inhumans, Spawn, Mojo, and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And I beat him in the last round of Swiss, but that's when they were only taking the top 4. And then me, you, and Sean, and one of the brothers, Dan or Darcy, went to the bottom 4. I didn't win another game. And then Phil went on to win it. He beat Garion in the finals, and they had a very unique first hand against Garion where he drew an event, I believe, and on his redraw he drew the no cards the word draw, and Garion was playing a Starjammers Ghost Rider Ray deck, and he said Merry Christmas. he said if you don't beat me this game, he said there's no complaining.
Wow.
And then the hand was so close. Phil had like all the knowledge of what the cards were. I think Garion went 3 the first hand. Phil drew a card, and he mapped it out where he knew that if Garion didn't block this 3 with a Doctor Strange 6 or less, that he would win or it would push. And Garion ended up taking a 3, and that's what actually lost him the game.
Wow.
He just couldn't get any traction after that.
Ah.
And it was just so wild watching that game. But yeah, it was a fun one.
I'm not remembering that one.
Yeah, that's where I played.
Hey, there's Chris. Chris finally showed up. He says hi.
Yeah, we played in the Swiss rounds. You were playing, obviously, your Beyonder babies. I was playing Beyonder with Scarlet Witch and babies.
Okay.
And
Miles played that one.
you had a
forever.
really good game against Keffer. You guys shook hands in like the middle of the game because it was such a good hand. And then I ended up beating you just because you were duping some. And you were betting really aggressively. And the cards that you gave me kind of took you out of that game.
Always, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, that was our first Buffalo when the game started back again.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember going. I not remembering a lot of the details.
Yeah, we played that DC3 deck the night before. I let you borrow a deck. And you were going undefeated for quite some time.
Wow. In Buffalo?
In Buffalo, yeah. I don't remember exactly. I think I gave you a flash deck where he became an 8 power grid or something.
Nice.
Yeah. You were rocking it pretty well.
Good. Howard says, I love her specials. I've tried forever to build a Beyonder deck with her.
She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. I mean, she's got the lockout acrobatics, and then she has the avoid a universe attack now and draw a card, similar to Iron Man. So if she's on the front line, it's a universal avoid against universe cards.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
But
Problem is she's a max 717.
yeah, I don't know why they didn't give her an 8 strength.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she can't be as strong as Hulk.
No, well, she's pretty strong. Definitely. 7.5?
You can't give her a 7, not Thor, though, or Superman.
You can't make. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, DC screwed themselves. I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't think they know what they were thinking.
No, they didn't understand the game. Somebody over there. Batman's not even an 8 anything.
No.
That's like.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, as most of you know, BMG came out with their sanctioned tournament guide this week. Hey, David. Glad to have you in the chat. Might as well take the time to announce right now. Next week, David is going to join us on the live stream. He's going to be taking all your questions for BMG. Hopefully, he'll have a couple answers to them also. He's also a rules guru. So if you have any questions on rules, next week will be a good time to bring them up. He's going to explain to us, well, maybe tonight he'll answer any questions we have on the Sanctioned Tournament Guide. We might go over it a little bit again next week with him, but it'll probably be more along the lines of next week where BMG's taking the game. I want to see what they can come up with. So if you have any questions, be thinking about it over the week and write them down. Don't be like me and forget them. Just sorry, guys, I got to look at something here. I saw something red flash on my screen, but it's okay. It looks like we're doing all right. Okay. The CPU usage staying low. When you add cameras to it, that's when it can get up pretty high. Yeah, I thought I saw a red flag there for a minute. So, all right, on the Sanctioned Tournament Guide, this thing's pretty detailed. It's good. There's only a couple questions. I probably only had one question afterwards, but let's go over some of it. I'm going to skip over the table of contents and just go straight to what's in the paper. I'm not going to read everything, but we have a general ethics and etiquette. It's rules on how players conduct themselves both within and outside the game. It says there's more on that later. Actually, I don't know where that more on that later is.
Yeah, they should have footnotes maybe.
Yeah, because I don't remember reading anything else.
Or maybe he's just
Maybe
going to discuss more later.
Yeah, I guess I gotta do a little more detail. Actually, I'll just reach out to Dave right now and ask him, hey Dave, do you know where the code of conduct is that is for outside the game? When it says more on that later, I assumed it was more on that later in the sanction guide. I wonder if they mean more to be announced.
Right, that's what I
bet that's what it is. Dave, got an answer for me? That guy says Invisible Woman +2 to Venture should work from reserve, just saying.
I think we've had that conversation quite a bit.
Chris?
If you want to put Invisible Woman in reserve, then it's fine.
Yeah, go ahead and play her from reserve. I think that'll change.
Yeah, I think they want to unlock all the inherents.
Yeah, I think that'll change, Chris. It's a stupid rule from way back when. There's a good chance.
We can add footnotes generally throughout if we speak of no fault environment.
No negativity.
Not sure what that means, but
Let's see. Wait, let me read that. We can add footnotes. Generally throughout it, we speak of no fault environment, no negativity. So
it sounds like they were going to elaborate on it, but there's no footnotes yet. Correct?
Maybe. So when you say conduct outside the game, you mean like you don't want me coming on the chat and talking bad about things or other players in a really derogatory way. And I totally agree I shouldn't do that. But I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. Try to resolve game issues using the game guide and call judges as needed. Yeah, that is clearly evident in the paperwork. This is, you guys, BMG posted this in the Overpower
Card game?
Facebook. Yeah, Overpower card game posted it in the Overpower Facebook page. It's a PDF so that you can go download it, read it yourself, know what to expect. Like I said, it is really good. Really, really specific. No bad juju or foul language, David says.
No.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I don't think anyone can argue against that. There are some people who already like to talk bad about certain aspects of Overpower, and I totally understand what you're talking about there. So let's go on a little bit more here. Deck building. This one, I think they kind of missed the opportunity to go over basic deck building rules real quick. I know if they ever come out with the starter deck, they'll probably have a rule book in there. But in the deck building section, they don't mention the point totals being 76, 74 to use a 3-stat, or 72, I'm sorry, if you use a 3-stat character and so on and so forth. I kind of thought that should be there. And maybe a little bit about, what do they call the same character?
The clone
Right,
variant rule.
the clone and variant, what's allowed, what's not allowed. Maybe a little bit about the battle site, what's allowed there and what's not, because that's all deck building. But other than that, they do talk about how, and this is something I've never seen in another game. I don't know if it's that way or not. If you leave a key card out of your deck and you realize it in the middle of round 1, you can't do anything about it. After the round, you could go to the judge and say, man, I accidentally left this card out of my deck and my deck doesn't function without it.
Yeah, we had 2 of those errors in Valhalla.
What?
Howard was playing. Well, that's because they were playing in the Max 7 event the night before.
Oh, okay.
Howard forgot to put all of his Beast Negates in his Beyonder deck. So he was playing, I think, 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, it was something, he didn't discover it for a long time.
He just couldn't figure out why he never drew them?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, because some games don't go all the way through. You just
Right.
think you don't get it. But
Yep.
I think it was John Lewis or somebody forgot their Nightcrawler 9. It was like,
So, in
So
these
it's
new rules, you'll
key
be able to go
cards.
to the judge,
Yeah,
and
which
you'll
we
be able
allowed
to
'em.
slide them back in for the next game.
yeah, which we took a vote right then and there, just because it was, this wasn't in effect yet.
Right.
And Dave said that that was going to be in effect coming,
And
next
that's good.
Now, some things that, you had 2 Beast Negates, are you supposed to have a third? I was like,
Right,
not-
you can't tamper with the deck.
right.
And that's covered in here too, the things you can't. It's got to be something critical before they're going to allow you. And you're not allowed to do it without the judge's permission.
Yeah.
So if you get caught taking something out or putting something in without the judge's permission,
You're disqualified, I
you're
would think.
disqualified.
Yeah.
They also note in here that there will be thorough deck list required for what they call pro play. So there's, the way I understand this rules book, there's going to be your casual play in store. There's going to be, and that includes both casual play, casual tournaments. Another level of events like we're running right now with the 5 throughout the year, and then something even above and beyond that. And so anything above what we do, you're going to need to write down every card in your deck and every card in your battle site and turn it in to the judge. And you could be deck checked at any time throughout the tournament to make sure all those cards and nothing but those cards are in the deck. And I like that. I think we should have that for even the level of play that we're doing. But some
Yeah, I don't mind if it's a judge that's not playing. But for people to kind of look through people's decks prior to the event. feel like
well, it's not prior to. It's per round. In Yu-Gi-Oh, they deck check usually no more than 1 deck per
Oh,
round.
I don't mind the deck check. I'm saying like to put your whole deck on a list and then let somebody that's playing the event look through it all.
Well, no, that's what a deck check is. In Yu-Gi-Oh, they would take your deck and the judge would go and make sure everything that you've got written down is in your deck and nothing but what's written on the sheet is in your deck. I understand if you're playing, but I mean, what are the odds that you're going to play each other? It's kind of a random thing.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh does it on a percentage of players, 1 every 30 players or whatever it is. I don't know because I'm not that level of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Or if
But-
they turned it in, it was face down, and then they randomly spot check it. You gotta have right.
Right. Nobody's going to read it before the tournament.
Yeah.
But also, if you got a question, it's like, hey, I saw him messing around over there. I think he added a card. I think he took 2 cards out, whatever. A judge would have the opportunity to, okay, you got chosen for a deck check. I need to make sure. And speaking of judges, and then I got a whole lot of chats here to read, but there is going to be non-playing judges in events that go above us.
Yeah. I know they're trying to do that.
And maybe even at our level. I think there should be at our level. The problem is everyone who could judge wants to play, and I understand that too. But we'll look into that somewhere down the road. Dave says we don't usually have issues with that, but it's important for people to know that our environment is inclusive and where people can learn or relearn the game.
Absolutely.
We have some blog posts guides pending to walk new players through deck building basics. Okay, that's good because we get a lot of basic questions, and sometimes we're kind of geared toward the guys that know how to play, and I think they fall through the cracks. And that's one thing with our non-live stream videos that we're trying to address. Howard says, I'm not fussing with allowing players to add cards to their decks after the tournament starts, regardless of the circumstances. Whoa, that's almost like having a side deck.
Yeah, there has to be extenuating circumstances, I would think.
Right, unless you're adding the side deck option to the game, I don't think you should add or subtract anything.
Unless it's a blatant miss, like you forgot all your beast negates.
Right, yeah, I don't think any of us have a problem with that.
I think that's what he means.
That's coming from me who took advantage of allowing addition of cards.
And then I know Brett had a issue. He says he's not real Facebook savvy, so if somebody could or if he could throw his email address in there, we could email him the tournament guide.
Oh, okay, yep. Brett says I'm Facebook impaired. Where is the tournament guide? Yeah,
I haven't put his email in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Brett, if you feel comfortable putting your email address in the chat, I can definitely email it to you. Sometimes you throw it out there in public and end up on a bot list or something. Yeah. I'm not sure I'd want to just throw mine out there. Okay, Chris says if you left out should not be allowed in. Yeah, whole deck should be submitted. Oh, Chris agrees with me this time. I thought he was one of them who didn't like that idea at first. I mean, I'm wrong. Agreed, if we are that stupid, we shouldn't be allowed to correct. No, Howard, I mean, accidents happen.
I mean, if the good thing or the wise thing would be to check your deck before you start the tournament. Before you start playing it, lay it out and look through it.
Most guys play it the night before, so they should notice something.
That's what happens, unfortunately, when you're playing in these dual events the night before, especially if you're
take something out of one deck, put it in another, and forget to put it back.
Yeah, and their issues, you know, they got 3-4 people sharing one set of cards.
Yep. Judges need to be non-players if we're going to allow judges to see decks, Howard says, and I agree 100%.
Yeah, judges will eventually be compensated and not playing.
Judges will eventually be compensated and not playing, says Dave. I'll
be playing because it's like compensation anyway.
Oh, jeez. Drunk guys changed the night before. I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. Let's get back to the tournament guide. We're all caught up in the chat. So judges, I like how in the tournament guide, judges are addressed on how to deal with certain things. Here's one though, tardiness to matches and forfeits. In the event of severe tardiness / lateness, the following penalties apply. For every 5 minutes a player is late, a judge moves 1 mission from the reserve missions pile to the defeated pile, and 1 mission from the opponent's reserve missions to their completed pile. I kind of laughed when I read that because if the player's not there, he doesn't have any missions for you to move down. There's not a mission stack just sitting there. So I guess
you'd have to just set a random stack of 7 missions down.
Well, either that or when he finally shows up, the opponent, however many he's got completed, the other guy starts in the defeated. I just thought that was kind of funny. They're invisible missions. We're moving them. I like this is continually done till the match starts or a player forfeits, loses the match. Intentionally forfeiting is not allowed. I have never in all my life heard of anybody getting tired and needing a rest in a tournament and just...
I've seen it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Just take a match off?
Or they flip a coin to see who wins the last round of Swiss because they're both already in the top 8 or whatever.
Oh, wow, really?
But that really messes up seeding sometimes. It's
well,
not fair
power
to some
ranking.
Yeah, it's not fair to some of the people that's on the bubble trying to get in. And you really need that opponent to beat the other guy or whatever.
Right.
And it's like you don't get that opportunity sometimes.
Huh.
So yeah, I can see that being an issue.
All right. Well, it's in there.
Yeah.
And that's good, I guess. Usually, if a guy doesn't show up for a round,
Yeah, we had
he
that
just
happen once.
drops. But I've never heard of anyone flipping to see a coin to see who wins,
Yeah.
which is technically in the next subsection called throwing matches. Whoever wins, the match was thrown to him.
That can be hard to gauge, but
Yeah. Um, David says Sean Sawyer lost a DOW during playing. He got caught in the metal lip of a metal deck box. So, wow, that would suck. Not being.
it was in the top of his lid.
Yeah. Should be a 2-mission loss. Please find a way to stop slow play. Chris, we've addressed it. I think right now, the way we have it set up, just call it judge over, and judging is going to get a lot more strict. I don't know how strict things are going to be in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing this game a long time. I haven't noticed a ton of it.
No.
I mean, and typically it's a newer player. You try to give them some leeway.
Yeah.
Just they're trying to figure out the cards and.
For the champ of champs,
Yeah, that's
not
different.
everyone's going to be. Everyone who's qualified to judge might not be in that event, so there very well likely could be all this and more go into effect at that point. And by then, BMG is going to have a judge guide separate from this sanctioned tournament guide that will address all that stuff. Marcel tried to duck me in the 2014 OP Cup.
Who's that?
David said that.
Oh, really?
I don't know what. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I thought the 2014 was where we kind of played like it was just all Swiss based. I thought at that point. Yeah, it was the very first K2, I believe. Did he say the K2?
Vlad wants to know who wants to play online. I guess he forgot we're doing a live stream tonight.
Oh, no, I got another camera going.
Playing online's fun. Vlad, quit trying to distract me. I'm trying to get through this.
Did you taunt each
section
other?
guide. Oh, all the time. I laughed at him a lot. But, okay, abusive language. Oh, wait a minute. Resolution of misplays during matches should be between the players as much as possible. We were talking earlier about last night online, Vlad placed a card that he couldn't play. And when I asked him about it, it was like literally the next hand before I noticed it. And he said, well, that card's going away. And he just picks it up and put it in his discard pile. You know, that's just the right thing to do. And he did it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of players make mistakes like that. You have an ally and you put a teamwork with it.
Yeah.
It's just because you're not used to
Right.
the ally being a universe.
So the document really wants you to try and figure it out yourself. You can always call a judge over if you can't and get a, quote, final ruling, unquote. Hi, Vlad. Glad you could join us. We've been talking about you all night. You might have to go back and watch the early parts. The final ruling, again, is literally a final ruling. And I didn't see in the documents, I'm assuming even a tournament organizer cannot overrule that final ruling. He asked to forfeit to me because he wanted the rest. I wanted the game. Interesting. Wow. All right, Dave. I don't know what to say about that. I've literally never heard of anybody taking a round off.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's like, really, if it was up to me, I'd play one more round at the end of the tournament. It's like, I don't want a round off. Let's play. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I hate to buy.
Yeah. Abusive language towards other players or judges can result in penalties or disqualification.
I might try it once.
Just see if they mean it.
Might have 2 missions in the bottom.
I mean, I don't think you can argue that. Somebody might try. I'm all for it. Dealing cards, drawing cards, touching draw pile before and during the battle. A very good section. When And I'd like to know, Dave, did you guys address this section after the OP Cup, or is this already done? Because this is really good. Dealing cards, drawing cards, touching the draw pile before or during the battle. I know when I play a casual game and somebody gets best laid plans, I have been known to go back to my hand and look to see what I got before I place 4 cards on top. According to this, that's not allowed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is no longer allowed. You look at your hand, you set it down, you pick up your draw pile, and you go through it. No point after that are you allowed to go back to your hand until you put those 4 cards on top of your draw pile. I like that, even though I don't play that way. It's not because I'm trying to cheat. I just forget.
Well, you hate to put a dupe in there.
Right. And it's like, I think I drew a 7, but I can't remember. And you go back and look. It's like, okay, I did. So
Yes,
it's
you
still
may have to take a minute to really look through your hand.
right. So make sure you look at your hand completely before you set it down and touch the draw pile.
Yeah, because it gives a lot of information, especially if that person's going first and there's best laid plans and you know that you have an event, you get to stack one of your cards that you know you're going to get to draw.
Yeah.
So, it gives you a little more flexibility.
Right. It also says that you should never draw a card and put it directly into your hand. Draw cards. I guess if you're only drawing one, but the rules want you to draw the cards and place them on the table so that your opponent can count them with you.
See how many you drew.
Yeah, and you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then pick it up and look at it. And Dave says this was in draft since last August 2022. Understood, but I'm just okay. I do that myself anyways, except for if my opponent ventures 3, I grab 1 card and pick it up.
Yeah, and I noticed Marcel back a long time ago when he was playing, he would count out his 8 cards. He would recount them again to make sure there wasn't one stuck together. Or
He'd put like 8, pick up 8 at one time, and then count them down to the table.
yeah, or he would count 8 out, and then he would pick them up again and count them down one at a time to make sure he really truly had 8 cards.
Oh,
Sometimes they stick together. Or
sure. And that's why I'm putting all new deck protectors on mine before the tournament.
yeah, they get sticky, they get old.
Yeah, but I do like that. I always count out 8 onto the table.
Yeah, some
you
people
bet-
put them in their hand. Like McMillan draws really weird like that. He'll draw 3, then 3 more, and then 2 more.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just an odd way to see it, but yeah. So
Dave?
everybody plays different.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. Now, when you bet 4 against me, I think I picked up 2 one at a time, but they might have went directly into my hand. I think I lay my cards down and then I draw the 2. I have to pay attention to what I do. I don't know. So used to it. By the way, nice hat.
Thank you.
Look at that picture. Look how that white lettering shows up. That's good.
Yeah, looks good, right?
Wow.
These shirts are bright, nice and
I
bright.
like those shirts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to wear my light blue next week because I finally washed it and tried to shrink it just a little bit. For some reason, the light blue
All right,
seemed to be a little bigger.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Mine was. But,
All right.
well, that's because you always wear smalls. I don't.
It feels like it anymore. I'm getting so fat.
All right, I got to catch up with the chat here. Howard says, I always hated the hard renege calls when a hand can be easily corrected. I like the resolution language in the guide. I 100% agree. I really do like that. Chris says, can happen sometimes. People concede to help friends in other matches, but no way to rule on that, in my opinion. It seems like it'd be kind of hard to prove that somebody threw a game, but it got a game that wasn't played. I think you can prove that. So
Yeah, that one's obvious.
yeah, I think that's not too hard to figure out. Chris says, what that's crazy. Should always be able to check hand or battle site. Actually, hey Dave, help me out here. I don't
He said he'd
remember.
be right back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
No,
Last comment we got.
Oh, all right, back. All right. I don't remember if they addressed the battle site. Looking at the battle
No, I
site.
think that's legal anytime, from what I understood.
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to go through it when you're doing best laid plans.
No.
Why would you need to look at your battle
Yeah,
site?
you wouldn't need to.
Chris,
I mean, I guess you could to see what had been played out of it. If you're wanting to stack
Nah.
a certain activator in there.
Nah, I don't think you should.
Yeah, I guess you should see the cards that are on the table anyway.
Yeah. Dave says this was a draft since last August. Understand. Is that called the Marcel rule? Yeah, too soon, Vlad. Sorry. I like leaving drawn cards from a DS on the table until they are used. Howard. Okay, I've never.
So if you have like an Inhumans, go get an Inhuman special or Gift of the Gods from Thor.
Mm-hmm.
You get your Thor special and you put it down somewhere separate and it's not in your hand. They always thought that you could already have a Thor special in your hand and
Right.
you draw something that's not a Thor special.
Right, but then you're running the chance that they negate your Thor.
If they negate
Your
it,
fetch card.
if they negate it, you don't get a
but
card
then
anyway.
you've got an extra card in your hand that you shouldn't have.
No, because if they negate it, you wouldn't get a card anyway out of the draw pile.
Oh, I'm saying if somebody had already had the Thor card.
Right, but if they negate that card, you wouldn't be able to get another card, period. Regardless if it's a Thor or something similar, but yeah, it makes sense.
You want to make sure they went and got a Thor card.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah, and
So
he's thinking
place
that
it
there's a
here.
chance to cheat, like if you already had a Thor Void in your hand, and you go and get
No.
something that's not a Thor card.
Right.
Yeah. So you go
You
and
can
get an
say, well,
Inhumans 9 or whatever.
All right, I went and got this Thor Void,
Right.
but you really went and got,
got
an
the
Inhumans
Inhumans
9.
9. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good, Howard. I've never thought about that before. It
Kinda the
prevents
same with
people
Web-Headed
keeping
Wizard.
dupes illegally. I was hoping it would be in the guide. That's interesting. And Dave says he'll be right back, so when he comes back, I'll bring it up again.
Yeah, so a lot of people used to do that with Web-Headed Wizard or the new Gemini. You draw the card because you're not allowed to get any heroes, and so you put it to the side, knowing that you didn't get an any hero or something
Right.
that
When you
wasn't
play it, you can prove that you
Right.
didn't cheat.
right.
Okay. Chris says you have to check battle site to see what's playable. You should always have to show drawn special for hero. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think you
I'm going
have
to
to show
disagree
it.
on both of those. I don't think you need to check your battle site. I think you can fan out your played cards from the battle site so that you could glance at them before you pick up the draw pile. Just like your hand, you know what's in your hand, you know what you've already played out of your battle site.
Yeah, but Phil Keffer did make a good point that those activators that are played out of your site are supposed to truly go to the dead heroes pile. So you're really not supposed to be looking at those either.
No, he wants to pick up his battle site and look to see what's
Right.
still available.
But I'm just saying you shouldn't be able to fan out the ones you've already played either because they're supposed to be in your dead heroes pile.
Dead? Oh,
Yeah,
really?
They're truly removed from the game once you've played them.
Okay.
So anytime
kinda
you
makes
get like a reshuffle event, if you don't have any activators and you redraw activators, you have to pitch them. So
Okay.
yeah, the specials you've already used from the battle site don't come back into the deck, even though the activators do get shuffled back in. So
Right.
it was always a much better event with the any heroes.
Yes, because you actually play them if you drew them again.
Right.
All right. Again, all these penalties, they're asking you to please work it out amongst yourselves without calling a judge over. If you can't, then call a judge over and get a final ruling. And a lot of times it's going to depend on when you discovered the error. You know, if the card's been placed for a while and shouldn't have been,
Yeah, it's
your
hard to go
opponent
back.
should have no qualms with pitching it. And if he doesn't have to call the judge over something that blatant, the judge is allowed to assess further penalties because
You
you're
can resolve it yourself.
you're not even trying to resolve it. Penalties for playing unplayable cards are in here. Procedure for calling time, asking for a judge to force action during a match.
Yeah, I think that's the stall tactic most people are
Right.
referring to now.
I'm going to read what it says here to the judges.
Oh, I like that rule too.
Most of the time, clock issues can be resolved by simply forcing the offending party to take their action and issue a warning. If after that warning the offending player is caught trying to grind a clock on a non-decision or even non-critical decision, a decisive penalty, conceding a battle and or additional mission penalty should be applied. Even if a player is agonizing over a valid challenging question, In the final 5 minutes of play before final hand, a decision should be forced within 1 minute of calling a judge. Time for judges to make a ruling should be added to the clock for those 2 players. These procedures should largely be unnecessary for untimed or longer timed playoff matches, 1 hour time limit or untimed, as these matches resolve before such issues.
Yeah, I think those are good
Yeah.
rules to enforce. And I like that they're already had something in here that may give you some time back based on how long it takes the judge to
Right.
make his decision.
And it just makes sense to me. Somebody shouldn't be able to just sit there,
Yeah, for 3 out of 5 minutes.
yeah, knowing they only have 1 play or they have no plays,
Right.
and they just sit there and wait for the judge to call time.
Yeah.
Revealing remaining cards in hand at the end of battle.
Yeah, I really like that too.
I'm always willing to show my cards, and a lot of times I do, and I've noticed that the other players they don't care. They're not looking.
A lot of people ask. I mean,
Right.
the better players ask.
Right.
What
If
did
they
you
asked, you have to show. That's always been a rule, I believe. But if they don't ask, I continue to offer, and if they don't look up, I fold them up, put them where they go. But you should reveal your hand, and basically that's, again, just to prove that you're not cheating. You should be more than willing to prove that you're not cheating. The judges, if what was said was, sorry, I skipped a penalty. Penalties for talking about another player's game, talking about a game that's being played, or offering opinions or advice about a match being played within earshot of live players is illegal and frowned upon. If you observe a match, remain silent. If you wish to discuss what you've seen, leave the room. If a player in a match hears spectators offering advice/opinions, they can report this to the judge, who can give the offending party a warning. If this is a continuing behavior problem, judges should take that into account when applying the escalating penalty scale. I think there's a better way to address this. Once your game's over, you leave the area. You shouldn't be able to watch anyone else's game, let alone comment on it. If you're not in the area where games are being played, this whole paragraph doesn't need to exist.
Yeah, I just noticed a lot of times this happens during playoff rounds, where there's half the field's eliminated and they're watching.
But I would get rid of the watcher. I'd get rid of spectators.
Yeah.
If you want to watch, hey, Table One's on the live stream, go outside and watch it.
Yeah, it's different now that we are filming.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could only
Right.
kind of view.
But
You want to see the better players in bigger matches. So I don't know that you want to totally get rid of spectators.
oh, I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the only. I know.
Charge them admission?
No, I just don't think anyone should be walking around. It's easy to flash hand signs. I don't know, you walk behind one of my opponents and you flash me 4 fingers. Oh, he's got a level 4 power card. I just think the best way to eliminate this ever coming up is to don't allow spectators in the playing area. When your game's over, you get up and you leave. I don't think that's a big deal myself. And I know people, they want to watch, if you're playing Marcel, they want to watch the 2 of you guys play. I understand that.
Yeah.
But this is a serious tournament. I think they should have to get up and leave. And Dave never came back. Okay. Let's see. Like soccer stoppage times, Vlad says, for play.
Yeah, you get a couple extra minutes. Or
exactly.
We discussed that. But.
Chris says the sad thing is that Overpower should be a 60-minute game. No, that's way too long. Way too long.
Yeah,
All contingent on having non-playing judges. Well, yeah, this whole guide, I think, is written on the contingent that the judges are not going to be playing the game.
Sam says at least 60 minutes.
At least 60. Come on, Sam. Thanks for joining us tonight, Sam. No, 60's too long for a tournament. A tournament of North American Overpower and up, 60's too long. I think 40 is fine, maybe 45 max.
I even feel like that's long. I mean, I don't know though. I'm a fast player. I feel like kind of like Derek.
Let's ask Derek his opinion.
I wouldn't say I play as fast as Derek.
I don't think anybody plays as fast.
But
as
I mean,
Derek.
I can play at that pace if I
Sure.
needed to. But it's tough because, like I said, you get newer players in the mix and they need a little more time. But yeah, I think 60 is just way too long.
Howard totally agrees with me,
And
I think he's talking about no spectators.
he is. Yeah. Yeah, he frowned over me one time when I was just kind of watching from a distance.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago when we went to that Peace Bridge tournament or whatever they ran up at that hotel. When I first got married, we went up there and we played in a team event with Keffer.
Yeah.
I think they call it some March Madness or something to that effect. But
Well, if Derek and Tyler are sitting there playing a game, yeah, I would love to watch it, but I wouldn't.
yeah.
I don't go watch other people's games during big tournaments. It's just not a good thing. And
Yep, all you have to have is somebody with a vested interest in the game.
right, it's just not good. And sometimes you can't help it when you're watching the game. You react because they did something wrong. It's like, oh, just something is that. Oh,
Yeah, someone
it's
holding
like,
that,
oh crap.
somebody holding an unplayable.
Right.
Forget to discard it or place it.
Yep. And so I would clear the room, gentlemen, clear the room. Old geeks, new tricks. There are many fan-made cards, including any character cards. How do we know which are legal in tournaments?
Oh, I thought that was the post was Old Geeks New Tricks.
Oh, no, that's
that's actually a username.
he's joined the chat. It's getting harder and harder to tell, my friend. I don't know.
He may think the BMG cards are fan made, but where in fact they're not
I don't know.
at this point.
Well,
There are some fan made cards.
there
I
are.
think, but
There's even Masters of Evil.
yeah,
They're fan made.
and Marvels.
And no. Marvels are fan printed, but there was play testing done by the Overpower card game.
What
They
we-
just never released it.
What we know, if it's accurate.
What do you mean? You don't believe them guys that they play
No,
tested it?
I think they probably could have or did, but,
Oh, I'm sure they did
but how do we know that was the actual official printed cards that they were really going
because
to release?
it came from the play testers.
But it was all
the
vetted
re-
and done, or just what they thought was going to come out.
It was all done. The list was approved, but then somebody stepped in and said, "This game's done. Sorry, we're not printing anything else."
And then it got leaked.
And Drew Tabb
Mm-hmm.
is the one who originally, I believe he's the one who released it at some point. Or who's the other guy who used to come up and judge with him?
Norm.
No, not Norm. Norm was running the game at that point, but Drew and another play tester. I'm drawing a blank, but he had a website that actually was the first website to list the Marvels list on it.
Really?
It was his website,
Hmm.
and they both vouched that that's what they were going to print.
Hmm. Yeah.
They wanted to give each character.
Yeah, I never seen an official ruling. Just what they thought was going to be in it.
Oh,
is
no,
what
that was the list. So it is tough to know what's legal. And actually, my 5 multi with Power Woman, what sets that out of?
one of those fan made printed
Okay.
like.
They told me before
DC3.
OKC that is not a legal card.
Yeah, it's a DC3, I think, is that Friday night event we played in out in Buffalo that I had mentioned.
Okay, so it is hard to tell, and eventually we're probably going to have to address that because it doesn't seem like BMG is going to do away with the old cards. They're going to grandfather them in. Let's see, Chris says, I'm a fast player, but sometimes decks go to power pack and some players are slow. I agree with no spectators, even though it's fun to watch and poach decks. Okay, it is fun to watch. I understand that, but not at that level. You just can't do it. Absolutely no proxies for cards that BMG have published, only BMG and originals, says Howard. And Vlad likes Old Geeks, New Tricks, best username ever. That is pretty good. Vlad said, should we just call it BMG and Legacy cards going forward? Howard says, Josh and I tried no proxies and received a lot of blowback.
Well, it's tough for the people that don't have the cards and they're getting back into the game and they no longer have their collection. They either have to borrow a bunch of cards from somebody or, you know, go
Hey,
with
Howard,
what they got.
what did you guys define as proxies?
Anything that wouldn't.
Are you talking about cards that were printed with different pictures than the originals were?
Correct.
Or you can't even print like White Queen's JW yourself?
No.
You got to have the JW card.
I think they were okay as long as it's an original copy or a
Old
print.
Geeks New Trick says thanks. LOL. We made it clear as mud. Yeah, it is hard to tell. And at some point, I guess that's going to have to come out in a sanctioned tournament guide footnote. We'll work on that if Dave would ever come back. Dave, you better not do this to me next week when I have you on live on the stream.
Be right back, guys.
Well, I don't want to answer that question. I got to go to the restroom.
Sends Jen on.
Reprints are fine, says Howard. Just not, alternate art.
Right. So if it was the 5 multi, they didn't want it anything other than the
Tiffany.
new
Or the
Cthulhu. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that.
But I mean, you start getting different art anyway because, you know, you got all the any powers that were printed from the regular sets, and now BMG's released all their. So you're gonna see different mix of cards. But,
Sure.
So to me, it's not as critical, but I can see where they totally don't match the picture or the icon, like what Marcel had for his Power Leech was a rebirth, and you're just not familiar with it.
Right.
It looks like a toad on here, and. You know, it's all green, so, you know, Chris assumed it was his Anax.
Anax, yeah.
But, I mean, when they place a card, you should really ask what it is or what they placed. So it's ingrained in your memory.
Right. Well, it's hard, though. There's so many new cards. It's like, I don't know. People tell me what the BMG Any Hero, they tell me the name. It's like, okay, that's great. What's it do?
Yeah, or Howard, he has a really hard time seeing the print on the MOE because of the way his color stigmatism is.
Ah, okay.
He says it's orange or red printed with black, and it blurs all together.
Yeah.
He just can't see it.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see.
He claims he
Proxy
doesn't
regular cards, who cares? Proxy Power Leech or rare heroes, different.
Now the heroes I don't care either. 'Cause
Yeah, I would even be less against proxying hero cards. They're not going in. They're not
For the
being shuffled.
activators?
Oh, the activators.
yeah, see,
Yeah, I
Vlad
forgot.
likes to use those
Yeah.
rebirth ones.
I hate those Vlad activators.
Yeah, I can't tell what they are. They're all like team pictures of, so
Right.
they all look the same to me.
And Vlad knows. Well, yeah, Vlad, you've had them forever. I don't know what they are. And then Old Geeks New Trick says, so is BMG making a new Overpower? I still remember when Flair owned it. Yes. BMG owns the copyright to the Overpower name, and they are doing their very best to bring back a new set, which we will talk about next week with BMG when we have Dave on the live stream. Right, Dave? Dave, can you hear me now? Where's Dave go? Anybody seen Dave? So, what? Ricky says you can't print out the BMG 5 multi? Cthulhu spelled with a C.
No, you can't because it's not art that's released anywhere. So you can't go in and print their artwork.
Oh,
They have the rights to it.
huh. Okay. You
Yeah, so
guys-
that's why a lot of people play like the Power Girl or the Vision or a Thanos made one or whatever. Which one card like that I'm okay with, but the problem is you allow one card, you start allowing
Right.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them.
Right, don't make an exception to the rule.
Right. Or you had to drop $150.
What
on the
happened
Tiffany
last
font.
night with us, right, Doug? With the Any Heroes. You know, mistakes happen. I'm not going to hold it against you.
And back in the day, you'd have to spend $100 on a 5 multi or more.
Were they weren't that much back then, were they?
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
I would say 80, yeah, 80 to 100.
When the image came out, I opened so much I didn't have a problem getting it. But you guys remember the Toy Biz Overpower figures? Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, somebody in our Overpower Facebook page group just sold a collection that had the toys in it. They looked pretty nice.
Yeah, I have them.
You have them all?
Mm-hmm.
I just had the Adam Warlock. It's the only one I really liked.
Yeah, I didn't like the other heroes, but I do like the card in it.
Yeah.
And I have a few. I think I have all the cards too.
Howard
They look
says
nice.
should not be. Oh, I got all the cards individually.
Yeah.
Should not be printing BMG stuff. Buy it. They're trying to run a nunness.
Nunness?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
A business. That's the Canadian way to say business.
It's nunness.
Oh, look, there's Dave.
Oh, show's over, Dave.
Dave, man, we had so many questions for you while you were gone. Guys, save all your questions next week for Dave. He'll be on here, and we'll either do him with a
Q&A?
FaceTime, or we'll do it by phone. I'm going to try and do FaceTime. Yeah, Howard, I'm sorry, buddy. Yes, business. You got any questions you want to ask Dave while he's back? His wife called. Okay. The last page of the Sanctioned Tournament Guide is post-match ethics and then escalating
Oh,
penalty
players should
scale.
never collude.
What's that?
Players should never collude,
Yeah.
which I think we kind of discussed that.
Right. So this is all good. Escalating penalty scale. The judge has the option to start this scale at any time. And if your offense is serious enough, he can skip stages. And so that's good. I'm looking forward to the judge guide. I hope it's as thorough as this. One thing that's not discussed in here is what is cutting a deck. And I've asked this question in the Overpower Facebook page. To me, it's 2 stacks. You don't have to cut it in half. You don't have to cut it in a third, whatever. You can take 3 cards off the top, lay it down, put the deck on. That's cutting a deck to me. Putting it in 4, 5, 6 stacks is not cutting a deck. They did not address it, and they said if enough in the community think that they should, they will consider it, take a look at it. I don't know that we need a rule. This tournament guide's pretty good the way it is, and if it doesn't address cutting a deck, I'm okay with it. But guys like Ricky want to put 15 different stacks out there.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just messing with him. I'm not even sure he's still on there. Oh yeah, he's still there.
He cuts however many iron avoidance.
He's trying to put an Iron Man avoid all over the place. But I want my opponent touching my deck as little as possible. I want to touch my opponent's deck as little as possible. That's just me.
There for a while they had you shuffling your opponent's deck.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, you end up having a high dollar card get banned or something weird. Just
Right. Even accidentally
you're mad
mess
at 'em,
something
yeah.
up. It's like, well, it's still messed up.
right.
Did you old geeks new tricks? Did you guys ever go to the Super Flea in Buffalo when Ed sold Overpower cards there?
Yeah, there was a lot of the Overpower players from the Buffalo area, which I don't know if any of them's on here tonight, but
Well,
I'm
this
sure
guy is.
I'm sure Larry did.
Where's Larry? Larry. There will be a spreadsheet for the judges with a judge guide.
Oh, actually, matter of fact, that's where Larry met Ed.
At the flea
Was
market?
at the flea market.
Oh, nice. Okay. What exactly is meant by pile shuffling? Let's see. Going like this with your deck, not just riffling. You got it? You got a deck there?
Sure.
Like Dave says, like many sports, there will usually be warnings and judges will be tracking behavior infractions. All right. Howard, this is pile shuffling, I assume.
Or where they put it on the table
Right.
and shuffle it in
With you.
5 different stacks.
As compared to ruffle. If a,
And a lot
I
of people-
guess, yes, our camera's not going to pan down that far, but you can hear me hitting the table, and then you pick them back up in a random order from where you cut the pile. some guys like to do that. Maybe that's what they mean by pile shuffling.
They mean this, where you're putting them into stacks.
Oh, you think?
Mm-hmm. And then you just shuffle your whole deck that way. And then the problem with that is a lot of people would do that, stack them into the stacks at the end, and then not shuffle anymore at all. And so you could just, if you knew exactly what order the cards were that you're laying them down in, you could.
Yeah, that won't work.
You could engineer not having any duplicates.
I thought it was putting them in different stacks.
Yeah, it is.
Not what you're doing, Doug.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ricky. I stand corrected.
It is.
All right, so Phil and Ricky, you're right. That shouldn't work. Yep, what Phil is doing. I can set my deck a lot easier with that method than ripple shuffling, says Howard. Yeah, I can see where that's an issue for sure. How to pile shuffle video. How not to pile shuffle. Needs to be at least 3 shuffles, says Chris.
A lot of people want 7. They feel like that's the
7 ruffles?
Yeah, it gives the where it's randomized.
Yeah.
Totally randomized.
I wish. I'd do 7 ruffles, so I'm still gonna get all kind of
No, you can't, but
because it's not random.
randomly bad.
Everything's clumped together. Dave says the opponent select the number of piles. That prevents any cheating. Yeah. I'm going to say let's do away with the appearance of any cheating and not allow pile shuffling. That's probably the best way. I understand what you're saying there. If your opponent plans to pile shuffle with 6 piles and you say you can only do 4,
Yeah, I just think, I mean, if you're playing against somebody and you're not happy with how many shuffles they've done or the way they shuffle their deck, I think you should be able to ask them to riffle it, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
Which is what we used to allow.
But a lot of times guys don't want to do that because the cards are valuable.
Right.
And they don't want to mess with them. To me, it's a game piece.
Yeah. Or you got to at least mix them together somehow.
Yeah.
They're saying you can somehow engineer that too, where you're putting the same cards in the same order.
Well,
almost.
anyone who's
But if
sleight of hand guy, but
if you're putting them,
easy.
if you're actually putting them card by card, you can't do that. But if you're just taking cards like this and going,
right, and you should be able to tell if they're doing that if
Right.
you're watching. 7 riffles doesn't unfortunately break up clumps. I could demonstrate. Yeah, I know it really doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any
No, there's
way
no.
to do it.
Yeah, there's
no way to legally do it. So let's see. Old Geek's New Trick says Gomer pile shuffling. Gomer pile.
Golly, Andy.
Yeah. Golly. All right. So I'm pretty happy with the Sanctioned Tournament Guide. Shuffling or cutting the deck is the only thing I thought maybe should have been in there. I don't think it's mandatory. It's not going to make or break the tournament guide. I think it's good. I think it's detailed, and it gives you a great idea what to expect. I will try to add the PDF download link into the comments at the end of the video in the description. Ricky says, time to purchase the Vegas shuffle machines. Yeah, we might have to go that far, huh?
That'd be nice.
Old Geeks, is there
Hard
a
to
max
shuffle
number?
sleeves, though.
See, Dave, I told you should have had that in the tournament guide. Old Geeks New Tricks wants to know, is there a max number of cards per deck? There's not. There's no max number, just a minimum.
Yeah, there's a minimum.
Minimum of 51 if you don't run events, 56 if you run events. No max, only minimum, 51, 56. Thanks, Vlad. You type as fast as I think. We will add language about cutting. Appreciate the feedback. Hey, thank you. I think it probably should be in there. Let's see. Chris says no max on deck, only 51. Minimum 55. It's 56 if you run events, Chris.
He doesn't type as fast as Vlad.
No, or is that?
Or is there's a typo.
Hey, Chris. Yeah. Hey, Chris, when you got to come up and play some cards?
Hey, you got a car now, and I haven't seen you since.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I don't know. We got anything planned for playing? I keep inviting everybody.
Yeah, Vlad keeps postponing. I'm trying to make it a date when
Vlad,
everybody
yeah,
can
I
be
don't know
here.
what's going on with Vlad.
I heard October 21st, and then I didn't hear any more after that. So.
Yeah, then he said Labor Day.
Yeah.
Which was a month ago.
Didn't say what year.
Right. But, I mean, we don't have to have Vlad up here. Chris said he's driving on his way up now. But, you know, you, me, and AJ can get together anytime. We got this big old
Corey.
beautiful room. That's
Corey, Josiah.
yeah, Corey wanted to play me today. I don't know what happened. Although the store did get busy this afternoon.
I think you were a little grumpy with AJ, so might have.
Oh, he knew I was just messing with him. I offered buying pizza. I didn't know he was on a
Ruined his
diet.
diet.
Whoops, I should have said that on live stream. There's Stefan. Do away with discarding duplicates altogether unless they are duped of place cards. That'd
you
be a
just run your
hard
deck
rule
with
to
all eights.
adjust to at this point. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that's just part of the game now at this point. Hey, I'm coming up Wednesday, Phil. You up for a visit? Says Chris. Wednesday.
I could do Wednesday evening.
Wednesday.
Oh no, I can't.
No, what? He's finally coming up, and now you're going to ditch him
Yeah,
after you just complained.
I forgot. I got pickleball Wednesday night.
Pickleball?
Yeah.
That's not even a sport. Vlad, what is with you and the dab, man? Chris says the game needs duplicates for deck building. Well, I'm not sure what you mean, Chris. You would like to keep dupes so that you could add more level 8 power cards to your deck?
He's just saying your deck would be so small if you didn't have duplicates.
If you are allowed duplicates, you just
Right.
throw in 5 extra
Well, of
8s,
course,
5
yeah.
extra 7s.
Pickleball. He knows I play pickleball.
He misspelled pickleball. It's all
Important.
one word. So I like that we discard dupes. We're probably the only game out there that does that,
Yeah, I think it is.
and I like the uniqueness of that. Yep, I hate them, but it needs it, says Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a nice mechanic that's different, and you could really break a deck if you could run all 7s and 8s and not run any 1s and 2s. Ricky says, my Iron Man OG scoffs at your duplicate talk. Yes, it does. Where are you guys? We are in Columbus, Ohio at Heroes and Games. And if you ever come this way, make sure you check us out. New York, nobody that I know of in our group is in New York right now.
There are 5 or 6 players from that Buffalo area that I think do still play. Just they're not traveling to the NAOA events.
Okay. The next, yes, there are tournaments coming up in Boston. How far are you from Boston? Old Geek. November 11th. It's a one-day tournament. It's a $50 entry fee. A high dollar payout to. They're doing top 4. Have they said?
I didn't see.
Probably top 4. It's a lot of fun. We expect right around 30 players, even though we lost Vlad and Sam. They're not going to make it. So I think we can still hit 30 up there. Yep, the Battle for Boston, November 11th. I think you guys are going to do something on Friday night too. Right now, Texas. Oh, Josh Alexander's in Oklahoma. What part of Texas are you in? He runs some events out there. We have a big one once a year at OKC.
April.
In April, yeah. So the tournament guide is about how we sanction tournaments. When's Boston? November 11th.
Yep. Someone put it in the chat.
Yeah. There will be guides for deck building. I don't know if you need a whole guide. You just need a page, probably. I would have just put it in this sanctioned tournament. Deck building's not a lot of rules and regulations there. Also, there will be a completely revamped rule set that has already been in draft since last August. That will not be released until we release a core set, which is when, Dave? Sorry, spoiler. Just trying to get some information out of you a week early because we're going to bug you about that next week too.
Now Howard coming up with another joke.
Howard, is there a chance the Blue Jays might play the Reds in the World Series? Oh, I guess not this year.
The toilet bowl.
Ah,
The consolation bracket.
Man, our Reds were doing so well.
Yeah.
But
Last
they
2
got some
weeks,
young
they just blew
talent,
it.
Howard. I'm sure you enjoy watching the Reds play. They got some ball players down there. Old Geek, again. You're in Texas. You're not too far from Oklahoma.
Is Old Geek in Buffalo or Texas?
He says he's in Texas.
Oh, okay.
But he's getting ready to move back to New York.
Oh.
Josh is in there.
Yeah, there are a few players I know in that Houston area
Oh, yeah?
that Josh Alexander had met.
Okay.
I know they had a couple meetups, but I don't know how active they are with it.
And if you're on Facebook, go to Facebook and do a search for the Overpower group, and you can meet up with a lot of guys there. We got over 500, almost 550. I think it was 545 people in that group,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty good for a game that's not been played for 20 years, and it's on its way back. Overpower is the game that is coming.
Wow. We're gonna wear out our new camera.
Yeah. Yeah, Ricky's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Geek, if you're not too far from there. He says he's from Buffalo, Syracuse originally.
Yeah, Josh Alexander's in the OKC area,
Josh and Ricky.
and Carl's back in that area now too.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's stationed back in Oklahoma
Is he?
at one of the bases there. Yeah,
Oh, isn't he going to be in Boston?
I believe he is.
Yeah,
I think him and
okay.
Josh are flying in together.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nice. Wow. 550. Yes, the Overpower group is pushing 550. I think I saw today it was 545 members.
Yeah,
So-
we struggle to get 40 players at a tournament. Ugh.
Oh, well, yeah, but there's 545 people all over the world.
Yeah, I get it.
There are guys literally all over the world. It is pretty cool. And it's a very active group. It's not just the hardcore players. There are people coming to find out answers to their rules questions. They haven't played the game in 20 years and they want to get back into it. They want to teach their kid, or they just discovered it. They just found all these cards at a garage sale or flea market. They look pretty cool. How do you play this game? So there's a lot. Oh, Howard, thank you for bringing that up. People can start signing up for the Boston Battle for Boston on Challenge remote games. Go to Old Geek. Go to that Facebook. Old Geek, are you on Facebook? But I just put up today how I'm going to start doing some online streaming.
Ricky said he had to subtract his 100 burners. There's only 444 players.
We're going to do FaceTime because I don't pay for a Zoom account, and as a 40-minute time limit wasn't enough. Online games, streaming games, it does take longer because you're explaining exactly what you're doing. You're not just placing your cards, you're telling your opponent what you're placing and where you're putting it. So it does take a little bit longer in a Zoom. I don't have enough time.
Derek said he could play 2 games.
Yeah, Derek might get 3 in. Best of 3. That's more viewers than CNN's, says Chris. Yeah, you might not be wrong there. What about remote games? Let's see. I started the post today. People can sign up for a time. I can play on Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Oh yeah, Nick and Zach
Nick
have-
Williams. Nick Williams. He was a play tester who originally put the Marvels list up on his website.
Oh.
And he had, it was the official list.
Howard's nephew Nick and Zach also have a game called Tabletop Simulator that you can download.
Now, don't play that one. Just get FaceTime with me and we'll play. Yeah, that one, and they say that one's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, go on Facebook. Just do a search for Overpower in a group, and it should be pretty easy to find. Vlad and I, who is right there, telling you we tried Zoom last night. It was fun. We were able to do it very easily. We're just going to switch to FaceTime to get rid of that time limit. And I will.
Did somebody delete the CNN comment?
No, it's right there. I also will want to put those on our YouTube channel. And I will ask each player before we start, are you okay with me putting this on our YouTube channel? If they say no, I'm still going to record it. I just won't upload it. And then if they say yes, I'll record it and upload it. Wow, we're getting a lot of action in the chat tonight, guys. That's great. Thank you. Howard, Nick's game on Tabletop Simulator. Yep. And we have folks in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio. OK Shootout is great in April. Look for that. Josh is doing something on Monday nights now. He can't make the live stream.
I think it's D&D with Sean.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Traitor. Which Facebook group? It's just called Overpower. Is there, I don't know. Is there
The
more than
Overpower
one?
card game? Yeah, there's a lot of Overpower groups.
Is there really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why don't you pull it up and then we'll let him know. Look for the big one that has 545 members. You can be 546.
There is one that just says Overpower. Then there's Overpower card game. Obviously our Overpower adventures, but
It's,
yeah, if he just goes to that one, that's the best one.
yeah, hold that up in front of the camera. Does that say? Oh, wow! Here,
Can they see it?
using your alligator arms. I don't know. Probably still won't work. 545 members. Group by Cody Lanier. Look. Yep, there you go, Howard. Thank you. Yep, you found it already. All right, good. Join it. Every time someone joins from my recommendation, we get $1.
That's 50 cents a piece. Also, he should follow the Overpower card game, which is the new BMG,
Yep,
who
that's
actually has the official license now to Overpower.
right. That's the guys, and then follow Overpower Adventures. Those are the only ones you need. You're set for life. Everything that happens in Overpower is reported in that Facebook group.
Yeah, trades. And
Yeah, you can trade with
Collections
guys.
coming up.
Yeah, buy, sell, collection. Find out all about everything that's coming up and all the rules, announcements. It's a lot of fun. It's very active. I use Power Leech as my favorite character for the application. Yeah, the Power Leech card was awesome. And invite your friends, Ricky says. Yes, please, invite your friends. Put us over 550 members. That'd be awesome. We're growing like crazy. A game that's not even out yet, technically. But it will be soon. So, all right, guys, just a reminder, next week, D-Mac is going to be on here answering your BMG questions to the best of his abilities. And this is going to be our longest live stream ever. We're almost at an hour and a half.
I'm glad I grabbed a liquid death.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you have your questions for D-Mac next week. Somebody from BMG is going to be back on later when we get a little closer to the battle for Boston, and we'll be talking there about Boston. We had an OP enthusiast from maybe Sri Lanka on the BMG call last year. Checking out now, folks. Have a great week. Thanks, Howard. Thanks for joining us. It's been fun. And like us on Instagram, Old Geek. Find us on Instagram, Overpower Adventures on Instagram. We're on Facebook and right here on YouTube. So thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you found us. Thanks so much, guys. D-Mac, we'll talk to you soon. I'll send you a message.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks.